Hey friends, welcome to Creativex. My name is Brad Hussey and I'm a web designer. Today I want to share a clip from my weekly office hours session that I host in the Creativex crew, which is my free community for professional designers and developers, freelancers, and founders. During these sessions, I answer questions, provide design feedback, live coaching calls, and I also host lectures and workshops, all with the sole purpose of helping you succeed as a designer. If that sounds like you, join the crew. The link is down below in the description and the pinned comment. Without further ado, cue the clip. Eric jumped in here in the comments. It says, I took your advice from last week on my client's website. So if you have time to let me know your thoughts and the changes, that'd be helpful. If not, that's cool too. Hey, why not? Let's do it right now. Let's find it here. This is Eric's discussion round 2, pulling it up on the screen just so everyone can see. And just while I'm doing this, like if you guys have websites you're working on or you got a client project and you want us to like take a glance at it before you submit it, that's a smart choice. Because if you're like coming in at 60% or you're 6 out of 10 and that's what you're going to submit to the client, I mean, that's fine. That's totally fine. We're all at different stages. But if you could submit an 8 out of 10, like that just makes you even more valuable and you get better and better. Okay, pulling it up, our last call, office hours, when we looked at this, there was a number of things that we suggested you change. And so I see that, yeah, you have already changed. It's not you don't have the transparent kind of header here where everything was kind of getting weird. It's more fixed. I would recommend more contrast here. I don't think the gray is doing you any favors. It's hard to see with the red, kind of burgundy and gold. Either go for what this truck is doing and go white, or go like black, dark gray, not this light gray. It's hard to contrast. It's hard to see. It looks strange. And it will really quickly look much better if you make this a darker background. I would even go as far to suggest, if it's okay with the client, just show the mountain graphic with RMWS, not the Rocky Mountain Wireline Service, high tech, low impact. If you cut those out, then you can make this logo a little bit smaller and kind of use it just as like a logo mark just to establish the brand. Then you can afford to make this header smaller and you're not taking up as much screen estate. This is hard to read. Even with your attempts with the drop shadow, I know the technique. It's a quick trick that us web designers like to use. You're like, oh, there's no contrast on the white text and the whitish background. Drop shadow or text shadow. It's a quick trick and sometimes it works and most times it just kind of dates the design. You can use a container and you can make containers more interesting. So instead of what we used to do, like let's say 4 years ago, which is like forever ago in web design world, like you just put like a white or black or gray container, like background color to that container, and that would lift it off of this image. So you could do that, but you could take it a step further and you can make that more interesting. So instead of having the container just, here, like, 80 pixels in from the left side of the page edge, you could have it coming out from the edge of the viewport, like coming right out from the edge. So there is no padding or margin rather from the edge of the viewport. And maybe there's another box that comes out from behind that, or there's some sort of cool kind of hard border that's offset. Like there's different ways of making what would otherwise be a really boring, oh, I see you went the background color on container technique, which is like level 1. But you could take that to like level 2 or 3 by finding a little bit more of an interesting way of displaying that information. What I suggest is take what you have, take this header treatment, this hero section, open up Figma, Adobe XD, maybe they're both the same soon, I don't know, but whatever your tool is, and duplicate it 3 times, 4 times to have 4 variations and change something on it. Go, okay, here is the control. Variation A is I do something like what Joey suggested. And we crop out this image, find some examples to see like how do people do something like that, cool hero treatments, crop out the image, put it in some sort of like masked circle shape, or maybe it's overlaid on something, or maybe there is no background and it's a hard color to establish the brand. The truck's there, it's style, not content. And it's over here on the right in an interesting layout. And then you can play with the text here and not use the white on white with the shadow. You can use like a black or a deep red. Okay, it's variation A. Variation B is try Bianca's approach. Now take both of those and duplicate both and make a variation of that. So what you're doing is jamming on a concept and making variations of that concept until you find the right approach. Because a lot of the time what we do is we design in the browser, or we take one pass in Photoshop, Figma, Adobe XD, whatever it is, and then we go, all right, well, that's underwhelming, I think, but I guess it's as good as it's gonna get. Moving on to the next section with the 3 components, talking about our services. Like stop. Give yourself like 45 minutes to an hour to make only variations on that one thing. And then you're gonna learn something, because the next time you create a hero section, you're not going to go level 1. You're gonna start with level 2 or level 3 because you've seen what works better. And then that's how you get better and better. So make variations of this. I'm gonna do a little pixel pushing here. This is centered. This font size, it's like an illusion. This looks like it's a smaller font size than this. I don't think it is. I think it's an optical illusion, which is messing with me. You've got capitalized text where you have the first letter capital, and then you have like the small all caps here. Go all caps or don't. This isn't working. The letter spacing here is still too much. Like it looks strange. What do we got? Letter spacing 5 pixels. So it's like, let me just, for now, hide this background image because I don't want to see it for a moment. I don't want small caps. That's what it's called. No small caps. That already looks more interesting. It's less strong and masculine like what is established in the brand here. So probably what you're trying to go for is text transform uppercase. Font weight is more like 900 if you're using a font family like, I'm assuming Helvetica Neue has that option. Now, the line height is too high, at least in relation to this, but it's usually with headings, we want line height that is more like 0.9. And now the margin at the bottom of this, we want something like more space. Now, again, these are just approximations. I would make variations on this. And I don't want it centered. Text align left. This cased hole service company, like I don't even know what that means. That's because I'm not the target market. And maybe that's fine. Maybe they're like, yeah, no, anyone who's visiting the site knows exactly what that is and that's what we need. Fine. But if it's not, and it's just jargon that's not helpful to their customer or their end user, change it. Find out what that should be. Like we do this, we help this, we create this, we build this, the best in the market for this, whatever it is. If that's fine, as is, cool. So we're getting rid of the text shadow. I do not like the letter spacing. We're going to make the font weight like 400. And text transform, we're just going to make none. Now, it's capital letters on each new word. I wouldn't do that. I would make it, just lowercase except for the first, like a sentence, but this is fine for now. Left align this here. Now, if this was in the center of the hero, then you would probably want to center this. But for now, I'm just doing that. Font size, maybe like 3 rem. Font weight can go lighter, perhaps. And now, this is just very, very basic treatment. These buttons, I see you've made some improvements. So good on you for that. I'm going to suggest you remove either the gold border and have it just be this burgundy, or you remove the burgundy and just go for an outline that is possibly gold or burgundy. So let's just try that. That's better for me. And then when you hover, that does not look good. I'd change I'd maybe just fill it in with the burgundy So let's do a hover treatment here really quick. That to me is better. Now it's so far from here. That is an unnecessary amount of space. So it's not an empty paragraph. Let's change that color. I would use a typography formula here to find out what your font sizes should be so they're consistent instead of just shooting in the dark like I'm doing here. Find out what are your header sizes 1, 2, 3 through 6. Large paragraph, small paragraph, and create like use type-scale.com. That's a good starting point. Put your base font size and that'll determine what your other font sizes should be. So let's say your base font size is 17 pixels. Well, here it is. If you want to use golden ratio, none of your choices matter here. Like they're all whatever, it's fine. There's no like magical, the golden ratio makes people want to buy more. It's just pick your poison. And I like golden ratio because I like dramatic differences between headings and body. So let's say your H1 is this big, H2 is this big, paragraph tag is 2.618 rem from your 17 pixel base font size. So just some thoughts. And now we want to do a little bit of space after this paragraph, and then I'll finish up with my pixel pushing. And ignore this button here, have a secondary style. Well, I deleted it. So there you go. Really quickly, you saw my jamming on that. Let's see what's happening in the comments. Font variant, small caps, got it. Okay. Probably don't need to apply for employment. Go ahead.
Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you able to?
So a few things that I did, obviously just using the pointer tool, cutting out that truck to get rid of the background to use that space as white space.
Yep.
Obviously, heck job on the cropping, obviously. And then I would work on the copy. Way too much copy. No one's going to read it. You pretend that your user has like ADHD and you have their attention for 3.5 seconds. Yep. They should know who you are, what you do, and what they should do next, right? Within like a glance, really. So minimize the copy significantly. And then I don't know what the brand guidelines are, but one way that usually designers, especially earlier in their journey, one way that they usually err is over styling things. Almost always you can make something a dramatic improvement just by removing stuff. Yeah. Try removing this. Does it get better? Does it get worse? It gets a little better. I don't actually need that border. Okay, get rid of it. Right? That's a good designer instinct to pick up. Adding things is difficult to add value to design by adding more detail. You can almost always improve it by getting rid of stuff.
That's a really good, always question your choice. You're like, do I need this? Can I take it out? Thanks for sharing that. That's brilliant. And that's visualized, Eric, like that's how you make your adjustments. That's how you make that, let's take this and change it and see what it looks like. That's like a practical application of experimenting with your design. Take those tips and run with them, because it's like minimize what you can, give yourself less choices, give yourself more restraint. Like good design is not because of how much we can add in it, how many borders or how many text shadows or, variations on the text, or like if you can minimize dramatically the choices that you get to have, you'll actually have a lot better results, because then when you give yourself an infinite amount of choices, which choice do you make? Any talented, skilled, experienced designer is going to have trouble with that, let alone if you're trying to break into it and get better at your instincts. So give yourself less choices. Take stuff out, like viciously trim back, question, do I need that? Work on the copy, because that's what really, really matters. And allow for any visual elements to be style, not content. If you took all that out, does the page still make sense? Then you're onto something. Thanks so much for watching that. If you liked it, tap the like button and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of our videos. And if you loved it and want some more, join us in the Creativex crew. While you're here, why not check that video out? Cheers.